Hey guys, I'm waiting for this thing to start, so I don't know if you can hear me yet, but I'm gonna be, I need to check to see if this thing is working because I had a problem with my microphone yesterday, or last week. So let me see if it's working. Hello? 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 All right, I think it's working. Cool. Last week I had a real problem with my microphone. It didn't work and the sound wasn't on my video. And sometimes, things just work out that way. So that's the way it is. All right. So, hello. Today we are going to talk about building resilience and persistence. And this is kind of your guide as a solopreneur because, it's really tough when you're working all by yourself to stay motivated and to stay in a really good, strong mindset. So we're going to talk about that today. And we're going to get started. So if you are watching this live, please give me a hashtag live. And if you're watching it on the replay, please give me a hashtag replay so I know that you are there. I really appreciate it, and it helps others to find the video because I always give away good, juicy stuff in my weekly lives. I don't know if you are new to my group, I go live every Wednesday at 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. And I've been doing that for a long time, so I'm pretty reliable. I've been doing it for like 5 years now, and I am pretty reliable. So, that being said, let's get down to it. Okay, so we are trying to talk about, the building resilience and building that persistent mindset when you are building your business and growing your business, because you are going to have difficult times and your mindset is going to play a huge part of it. I know it does for me. I've struggled with mindset issues all the 5 years that I've been in business. And I think one of the things that keeps me going is doing these lives, if you can believe that. It just keeps me, I don't know, connected to my audience, even when nobody shows up live and I see people are watching the replay or whatever. So thank you if you are here, or if you plan to be here, if you're watching the replay of this, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you and appreciate you showing up for me. I show up for you every single week, so I appreciate you showing up for me. Thank you. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to talk about is understanding resilience and persistence, okay? And I've got some notes, so I'm going to be glancing over at my notes a little bit, but so resilience is going to be that capacity to recover from difficulties, right? I know for me, when I first started way back, I was absolutely terrified. I was terrified to go live. I was terrified to do a boot camp. I did 8 boot camps my first year in business, and I was really stressed out about it. It was really tough for me. So, so you are not alone if you are feeling that, and if you're looking at me saying, "I can't believe it that she was afraid of going live," you bet I was. And the interesting thing is, recently I've been trying to do more live, or not live video, but more videos for social media, and that's like a whole different animal. And so now it's a whole nother little obstacle that I have to face and I have to deal with, and knowing how to show up on social media. It is a little bit different than doing these lives. And so if you don't think so, then, I'd love to hear your comments in the comments there, because I think it's quite different, and it is a little bit of a pain having to hit those hurdles, as you go through your business, and you think, geez, I've been in business 5 years now, shouldn't I have a handle on all this? Well, no, there's all of these things that you have to learn all the time, and it just takes time to go through the process of learning these things. So um, so that's resilience, to be able to recover quickly, recover from those difficulties, recover your mindset first. That's one of the biggies, is getting that mindset back on track. Sorry, I've got hair in my face. So that you can, get on with business, right? You've got business to do, you have things to do. And sometimes when you have setbacks, it can be really hard to get yourself back on track. Okay, so persistence. So that's resilience. Persistence is the firm continuance in a course of action despite difficulty or opposition, right? And so we all know what persistence is, right? Even though you're hitting those obstacles, you are persisting. You are persevering. You are still moving forward, and you are doing all the things you need to do to get those obstacles out of your way, and get yourself back on track. Okay, so why are these crucial for solopreneurs? For one, it's because it's so easy to get stuck in your head as a solopreneur when you have nobody else who can be your sanity check for you. It can be really difficult to do that all by yourself, and that's really where coaches are really good, especially a really good coach that is willing to spend the time and really help you go through that thought process, right? If you have a coach right now, and your coach helps you with things like whiteboarding stuff together, mapping things out for you, talking things out, drawing that information out of you instead of just trying to give away all the answers, right? That is the best kind of coach. And so I happen to be one of those kinds of coaches, but I love to whiteboard stuff with people. I love mapping things out with people, breaking it down into actionable steps. That is totally my jam. And so if you are looking for a coach who does that sort of stuff, then I'm your gal, because that is like totally my jam. I love doing that with my clients, and I think it's so beneficial rather than just giving that cookie cutter approach to things, right? So that's kind of where we're heading, right? We're looking at perseverance, we're looking at resilience and persistence so that you can overcome obstacles and get yourself back on track when you have a setback. And so having that solopreneur mindset, you have to remember that sometimes you're going to have to reach out. You're going to have to reach out to maybe a fellow solopreneur that maybe you can have a weekly work session with, or something like that, or get involved in a Pomodoro group, or go to a networking session, or do anything to get you around other entrepreneurs. I think that is one of the things that helps to energize you, and then you can kind of I don't want to say commiserate, because nobody likes to just sit around and complain, right? But somebody who's gonna not be crazy on the same day, right? You're like, we're not all crazy on the same day, and sometimes you need that little bit of sanity to help you with checking yourself, right? Checking yourself to make sure that you're not going off the deep end for no reason. Or if you are going off the deep end for a reason, somebody who can help you circle it back, put it in perspective, and get yourself back on track. Okay, so believing in yourself is really key. And I know it can be really hard to believe in yourself. But I want to say this. There is probably when you struggle with that kind of thing, the belief in yourself, the belief that you can do it, it's usually not like the whole gamut, right? You don't believe in every single thing about yourself. Like, that is just not true, right? There are things that you truly believe in yourself. Like, you may believe that if you became a coach, you would be the best coach ever, you would do a great job, and you might believe fully in that. But what you may have doubts about yourself is your ability to market yourself, right? The ability to promote yourself and do live videos, go live in your Facebook group, or create good marketing materials or a good design in Canva. You may have doubts around that kind of stuff. So make sure you're not just making a blanket statement about yourself like, I suck. Because you don't want to do that to yourself, because it's not true. And you know that it's not true. And so let's not go to that all or nothing mentality, right? All or nothing mentality destroys small businesses and small business owners. Okay, so the other piece about building confidence is being able to reflect on the things that you have done, the mistakes that you have made, or just the data that you collected, right? Because there really is no such thing as failure unless you give up. Right? Once you give up, then okay, maybe you failed, right? But um, but if you are taking a persistent and resilient mindset, you are going to instead look at every single thing that you do as data, right? You're collecting data for yourself, you're collecting information, and you are helping yourself create a roadmap for your success, right? When you make mistakes, when you do things that don't work, that fail, as you might think, you are actually getting this, you're like creating boundaries for yourself, right? Okay, well, you hit up against this boundary, you hit up against that boundary, now you know where to go, right? I mean, we all kind of do that, right? We bump up against things because you're trying things, and congratulations for taking risks, because that's huge. To be able to take risks and put yourself out there, that is huge. That is huge. And if you are really trying to build a business and leave a legacy of something behind, right? Something, so when you are finally in the ground, somebody might say, that person, that Cheryl Texera, she really helped me. She really helped me way back then. She helped me, build this business that I had, or she helped me change my attitude about life, or whatever it is that your special secret sauce is, right? So that's where I want you to really focus in on, is that you are not. You're not doing that all or nothing mentality to yourself, so that you can build confidence in the areas where you do have skills, and then not stress out about the areas where you don't have skills. Instead, you take it on as, simply an obstacle that you're going to have to overcome, right? You have to go get that training, or go get that help that you need, or do a little research, or whatever it is that you need to do, or maybe it is just put in the deep work, right? Because a lot of times we get so focused and zeroed in on doing the tasks, doing the thing, that we forget to do that really deep work. Okay, so that's that. And then now we're going to start looking at some strategies, right? So one is, you're going to have to really develop that emotional intelligence. So you want to be able to manage those emotions. I know when I first started, I struggled with that a lot, and partly because I came from a situation in my work, in my career, that was really bad. I had a really bad boss who, just was just cruel. And he was just cruel, and so it really taxed me. It taxed my confidence levels and stuff like that. So when I first got started, it was really tough. I was kind of going through some PTSD from that, and so it made it really difficult. So I think that had some residual effect in my business. When I started feeling self-doubt, I would get like strung up really, tight. I'd get wound up tight and stuff, and get stressed out. And so, managing that and not, making a mountain out of a molehill is, I guess, a good way for you to sort of manage that. And then having empathy towards yourself is huge, right? Huge. If you're not born with all this information. You have to actually acquire it. And that means you're going to have to put in some study time. You're going to have to, do the work and go through the process of learning this stuff. It's not going to just come to you. That's just not the way things work. And so you're going to have to deal with that. And so learning how to deal with the stress, learning how to, take action when you're feeling stressed, or like, for example, like, let's say you're just sitting wasting time. Maybe you're scrolling through TikTok or something. You're not doing the things that you really know you need to be doing. Well, that may be the time for you to get up and move around, right? And if you feel like, or if you already had your workout, or if you don't really want to walk away from your work, having a whiteboard is one of the best ways that you can build in a little movement and activity into your day without actually leaving your work. I mean, you could have a treadmill under your desk, and you could have a standing desk and all that stuff, but frankly, I mean, I found a standing desk. I have one. I'm sitting at it right now. I rarely use it because when I stand, then it starts hurting my back. So, and it's really a kind of a pain to lift up and down with my computer on it and everything. And so find something that really works for you. Whiteboarding really, really works for me because sometimes I can't focus my time and energy on something when I have the computer in front of me and like a blank sheet of paper in front of me. I need to get to the whiteboard and draw out my ideas and make a mess of that whiteboard and move around that whiteboard and look at it from different angles, and that really helps me get through that thinking process that what Sabri Subi calls the plotting and scheming process. I like that. And sometimes, things aren't ready to be put on paper yet, right? So you have to get that idea out, and you're whiteboarding it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've whiteboarded. I take a picture of it. I never look at the picture. Sometimes I do, but I won't look at the picture. And then I erase it all, and I whiteboard it again, and I whiteboard it again, and I whiteboard it again. Because sometimes it just takes time for your brain to get that stuff out of the deep cavities of your, the deep file cabinets in your brain, to pull that out and get that onto paper and get those ideas down. So anyway, so that's kind of how you want to start dealing with, stress management, dealing with that kind of stuff is take a different course, right? If you're normally just sitting in front of your computer, get onto that whiteboard, or, go listen to something, listen to a podcast, or, while you're walking on the treadmill, or while you're going for a walk, or whatever. But do things to help you manage the stress, okay? One of the things I think is really good too is the Pomodoro technique, and you can hit me up in the comments here. Just put Pomodoro in the comments if you're interested. But I am participating in a Pomodoro group, and there's like a calendar of hours when people are going to be there, and then you go and you do the Pomodoro. I don't know if you know what the Pomodoro is, but it's this. You kind of use this type of a thing here, and you're like taking 5 minutes to just focus your attention, your time, all your energy toward the thing you're going to do in the next hour, and you take a breathing exercise, and then you get to work, and you work undistracted, without your phone there, without all the things around you, for 50 minutes, and then at the end of that 50 minutes, then you reflect back on what you did. That is a great way for you to get the stress out and get your brain focused on what it is that you actually need to do. And then we talked already about building that supporting network. Like the Pomodoro group is a great way. If you're interested in that, let me know. And also just, networking and going to networking events, not just for the sole purpose of finding a client, but going to networking events to find your favorite buddy, right? To find your business buddy, somebody your business bestie, right? Somebody who you could maybe do those types of work things before. I used to do that with a friend of mine, um, and she was a former client too, but I used to do that with one of my friends, and we would just get on a Zoom and we would work the whole time, and we might talk things out a little bit, but for the most part we were working. And that's just a nice way for you to not feel so alone, right? Especially when you're working alone. So supportive network, you could have a virtual coffee with somebody, you can have work sessions with somebody, Pomodoro groups. Look at your local stuff too, because we have a business support organization here in my city, and they do Pomodoro groups actually in the city next to me, so I don't really go to them because it's 30 minutes away, but but you might have one that's local that you could do that helps you get your work done, right? And then we're going to get into some of the more meaty things, right, of how you can build this resilience and how you can build this persistence in what you're doing. And one of the ways is to start setting really clear goals, like really clear goals for your business. And so, everybody wants that $10,000 a month, right? Everybody always talks about the $10,000 a month. Well, how are you going to get there? And you can even list it out, like, okay, well, I need 4 clients in this program, and I need to sell this many digital products, and I need to have this many people join my workshop and make those. Well, then how are you going to get those people, right? That's the next step, right? Just because you set that goal doesn't mean it's actually going to just magically happen, right? You have to make it happen. So one of the things I learned from a coach that was really super, super helpful for me was to set that goal, to say, okay, I'm going to try to get 40 people signed up for my master class, let's say. Well, then I don't stop promoting it until I get those 40 people. And if I have to DM people or send personal information, personal invitations, or give somebody a call to get them on there, I will do that, and so those are kinds of things that you need to start doing. Like, just because you're an online business doesn't mean you can't pick up the phone and call people if you have their number. It doesn't mean you can't DM them and say hello and invite them to something. That doesn't mean you're inviting strangers and stuff, and that doesn't mean you're just like cold calling all the time, but it does mean that you are communicating with your audience, right? And that's the key. It's like, when you stop thinking about marketing so much as marketing and you start thinking of it as communication, I think it just gets a little bit easier, right? It gets a little easier. So if marketing is the thing that hangs you up and makes you be less resilient, right, because you get all into your head about marketing and stuff, then think about it as communicating with your audience. You're communicating what you have and what you are offering, and then how they can get it, right? How they can get it. And you're also doing nurturing and that kind of stuff too. But I mean, you're in business to make money. Let's face it, right? You're in business to make money, and you need to be able to do that, right? You need to be able to do that, and I give you permission to do that. So get out there, and I don't care if you have just one person on your email list. I want you to email them. Email them. Let them know what you have going. Let them know what you're offering, because it can go a long way. You never know. You could have 10 people on your email list, and one of them may be a client. So get out there and send them an email. So breaking down creating clear, achievable goals, right? You want to break those goals down into those manageable tasks, right? And what is a manageable task? In my opinion, it's something that you, 1, know how to do it, and 2, you know how long it's going to take to do that thing. So that means if you don't know how long it's going to take to do something, you probably need to keep breaking it down into manageable pieces, into pieces that you know how long that will take, right? And if you don't know how long it will take because you don't know what to do or you're learning, then you want to go and, set some goals around learning that thing and see how long it's going to take you. And sometimes if you can do that, like you can decide that you need to learn something, and you can set a timer on that. Say, you know what, I'm going to give it 2 hours, and I'm going to learn everything I can to get this particular task done, and then I'll learn the rest later. That's how we had to do it in IT all the time. We couldn't, when we were learning a new language, for example, they'd give us the very, very basics, right, in a class or something like that. And then we had to go and write code that did very, very complex things, advanced things when we were just beginners coding that language. So, and a lot of this was before the internet was really as robust as it is today. I mean, now you can, well, geez, with AI, you can write code now, but back then, you couldn't do it. And so you had to take that time to go and learn, maybe go read a book or read that chapter or whatever, and then practice and apply, and so you don't be shy about that. And now you have a wealth of information out there. And if you're focused on a specific task, it's really easy for you to get the information out there. You can be very specific. You can learn just about anything from YouTube. Geez, I mean, I actually built an entire shower pan, out of concrete from a YouTube video. So I know you can do stuff on that. And so the other thing is, you can think about the SMART goal. Ask yourself when you create a goal, is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it relevant? And is it time bound, right? The time bound doesn't have to mean a date, a due date. It can mean how long is it going to take me, right? How long is it going to take me? And then make sure that you are slating out the time that you need to do those things. The other is consistency, right? One of the things that I've been doing consistently for 5 years is going live in this Facebook group. Why do I do that? Because it helps me stay connected to my audience, number one. So I do a lot of it for me. The other one is because it helps connect my people to me. It helps people learn things about what I do and how to achieve the things that they want to achieve. And so, doing that consistently, and maybe you pick one thing like I did. Like, I didn't do a whole lot of other marketing for a long, long time. I just kind of did my thing, and I ran Facebook ads. I did my Facebook lives, and I did Facebook ads. That's pretty much how I did it in the early days. And now I'm going more to organic. I don't want to give all my money away to Facebook. I want to get my business, in other ways. And plus it's a challenge for me. I want to learn more about organic marketing, and I've been really trying to focus more on that in the last couple of years. And so you don't have to take everything on at once, right? If you're having a hard time getting started, just start with one thing. Go live in your Facebook group every single week. Do it. Even if you only have 5 people in your group, it doesn't matter, because what you're doing is you're creating a library of resources for your people so they can go binge watch your stuff if they want to when they do come into your group. And believe me, they will, because they do that in my group a lot, right? They'll go through and start binge watching, particularly people who are considering working with you. They may go binge watch all your stuff because they want to check you out, right? And so what you're doing is you're giving them a tool so they can check you out and understand you and learn who you are and what you stand for, and if your style fits their style and all that stuff, right? All that stuff. So that's kind of the idea with that consistency. So add to your consistency, right? Everything is iterative, right? We are doing things in that Scrum-like fashion where we're doing iterative development, meaning we do one thing, we get it out there, we test it for stickiness, we keep working on it, improving, and then once we got that running, then you can add another thing and another thing and another thing. And so just start with one thing and say, I'm going to do that one thing consistently. And then do it consistently. And, that doesn't mean, that's it. 52 weeks a year you have to go live. I don't. I have certain times when I don't go live. But, for the most part, I go live. So I probably miss maybe 4 weeks, 4 weeks out of the entire year or something like that. Because I do schedule vacations and I do that kind of stuff. And I take the time off between Christmas and New Year's and stuff like that. So, um, those are things that you'll want to be doing for yourself as well, right? Is making sure that you have a vacation schedule too, and you don't just lock yourself in where that's it. You're stuck. You have to do this forever. You don't want to do that either. But the consistency really helps. I think it helps with your mindset a lot, a lot. And so if you are struggling with your mindset, I think that going live in your Facebook group is one of the best things that you can do for yourself, because it helps you get over that hurdle of worrying about it and stuff. And if you need to test that, just go live, like create a test Facebook group and don't let anybody in it and go live in it. And then just go watch it from Facebook so you can kind of see how you show up and what you're doing, and you can get used to your own voice and the way you talk and stuff like that. And you don't have to worry about correcting the way you talk so much. You are who you are. Just be who you are. If it's not good enough for somebody, they can go find somebody else, right? Because there'll be plenty of people that like you, know you, trust you, want to be around you, that sort of thing. There will be plenty of people. I mean, there's 2 or 3 billion people on Facebook. I'm sure you can find a few people, right, that are interested in what you have to sell and what you have to say. So a lot of it is just getting used to you and hearing your own voice and hearing the way you talk and, the way your facial expressions are and everything, so that you don't, feel weird about it. Right? Okay? So consistency, be consistent. Get something started and be consistent on it. When you get that into a routine and you get it sort of systematized, then you can start adding other things, right? So do that. Staying motivated, you always have to work on your motivation. I think working with a coach is one of the best ways for you to stay motivated, especially if you have a good coach who really truly cares about your progress and what you're doing, like myself. I really do care about my people, and my coaching programs, I don't make myself inaccessible. There are coaching programs where the coach is actually inaccessible. I don't do that. You have 24/7 WhatsApp access to me, so if you need to brainstorm something out, I'm a great texting buddy for that. And sometimes it helps to just be able to text it out, right? Because it's texting is a great way to be so less formal than an email, and or a document where you're trying to do something and it forces you to put words, right, on paper. And so when you have to do that, then it helps you kind of talk things out, and then it really helps me too as the coach to have somebody write things out in a text. I can see more where they're heading than if they're trying to verbalize it. That works too, obviously, but usually when we're verbalizing, we have a whiteboard open on the computer and we are whiteboarding as we go, right? Because bringing that visual into the process really helps. It just helps you to see the vision more, right? And the more you revisit your vision, the more motivated you will be. When you see yourself get moving closer and closer to your vision, that's when you're going to really see that motivation, right? And it's not just monetary. It's not just monetary goals. Sometimes it's about getting those pieces in place. Maybe the piece in place that you've been needing to do so that you could take a vacation once in a while, or so you can have something that's sort of on autopilot and more routinized and systematized, right? So it doesn't always have to be monetary when you have those kinds of successes that can help make you more motivated. But definitely revisit your goals and your vision, right? And I want you to remember, think about your vision 10 years from now. 5 years is great, but I think 10 years you're really looking at a big change in your life, right? If you have kids in the house, they may not be in the home anymore. If you're, taking night classes, you might be done with all that by now. If you're working a full-time job right now and trying to do this as a side hustle, that may be behind you in 10 years. Where in 5, that might not be the case yet, right? So think longer term and kind of map that out in your brain, what you want that to look like, and then you work towards filling in those pieces so that you have all those building blocks in place when you're getting to that 10-year mark, right? Learning from your failures. Remember, we just talked about it. There are no failures. Absolutely no failures in this kind of a business unless you give up. So everything is data, everything is information, and what you do with that information is the key, right? It's just like that saying of, it's not what happens to you in your life, it's how you handle it that really matters. Same kind of thing. It's not what happens during your business and what you consider a failure, but it's how you manage that and how you deal with it the next time, right? You could send an email out to your list and not sell the thing you were trying to sell and then give up and say, forget it, people don't want to buy that. When really you didn't do a due diligence, right? So if you look at it more objectively, right? Objectively, then you will see that you did not do your due diligence in marketing and promoting that thing that you wanted to sell, so you didn't even give it a fair shake, and you kind of didn't serve your customers well if you only sent out one email, right? So think about that, right? It's there's always room for improvement, right? There's always room for improvement. So anyway, so let's take a second right now so that we can just kind of do a reflective exercise, I guess, a reflective exercise today. I want you to really think about what it is in 10 years. What do you really want your life to be like? What do you want your business to be like? Will you be working a full-time job still? I mean, I know some solopreneurs who actually work a full-time job, homeschooling their kids, and they run a business, and they don't have any intention of shutting their business, of leaving their full-time job, even though they're making, really good money in their business. They just have no intention of doing that. They love their job and they want to stay with it, right? So what is your 10-year goal? What are you going to be doing in 10 years? Who will be in your life in 10 years? Who will be in your daily life in 10 years? If you have small children, how old will they be? If you have teenagers, how old will they be? What will they be up to? Where will your money be going? What will you be doing? How much free time will you be wanting? Do you have a team? Do you want a team? All those things. A lot of people, start out businesses and they really don't have that long-term vision of what they want their life to be like when they get there. They're just sort of winging it. Well, I don't know, we'll just see, right? We'll just see. Well, when you're doing the we'll just see, you're not really making plans for it's really going to happen, right? And I can't tell you how many times I have discovery calls with people and I tell them, be careful, because when you're working with me, your business is going to become a business. It's not going to just be a hobby or something that you're just going to try for a little while. It's going to be a business, and you are now going to have people counting on you, right? You're going to have customers counting on you, clients counting on you, maybe a team counting on you, and an audience counting on you. You're going to have responsibilities once this becomes a business, and so you got to really dig deep and make sure that the lifestyle of an entrepreneur is what you really want, right? Because if it isn't, you're not going to stick with it. You're just not going to stick with it. Okay, so that's kind of that reflection, right? If you just sat and just let your brain, loose and just write something out, get on a whiteboard or whatever, draw a picture, get that thing out there, that 10-year plan, and really look at all the little pieces of what what your life is composed of, and ask yourself what's that going to look like in 10 years. Okay. You might be caring for an elderly parent or something right now that maybe in 10 years you won't be anymore, right? So there's all of these factors that are in your life now that may not be there in 10 years. And so what you want to do is be in charge sort of your of how you navigate that next 10 years. And that's how you do it, by setting these real and achievable goals, right? Okay. So that's the deal, and you can find more on this in my new guide. As you know, I've been rebranding. This is my new color. I'm going with blue because I always wear t-shirts, and I hate dressing up, and so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna get some blue shirts and a blue jacket, and start just wearing my blue because blue is one of my colors anyway. I think so. So I'm just doing my blue. But anyway, I'm rebranding, remember, to CherylTexera.com, and you can actually shortcut me to at GoCherylT.com and grab my guide. It's there for you. It's called Rise Above the Rest, 7 Tactics to Dominate Your Industry. So you can find that here. I'll just put it in the go.CherylTexera.com. Everybody misspells my name, so that's why I created that separate domain. It's GoCherylT.com or just CherylT.com. So you can find me, because I know it's a real pain trying to spell my name and everybody gets it wrong. So grab that, and then the other thing is, don't forget to sign up for my masterclass. That is coming up next Wednesday. So it's still on my my Scrum Shop website. So I'm just going to put that link in there, but you can sign up for my masterclass. I'm going to be going through some really good tactical things that you can do to up-level your marketing just a little bit, and start bringing in a little bit more revenue just by making a few small incremental changes to your business. And that's the other profit boost side of my business. So I have the functional operations side of my business, and then the marketing tactics and strategy side of my business, where I help you not only, the operations side is my Business Foundation Accelerator program, where I help you get your business up and running, get the critical pieces in place, right? Those must-have pieces in place so that you can start getting clients on a regular basis. And then after that, then we go into the Profit Boost Accelerator, or the Business Profit Accelerator, where we start tweaking the marketing using proven strategies in my program. We've got a library of proven strategies in there that will help you tweak your marketing and get better at your marketing, and give you some anchor type things that you can hang on to, that are tried and true marketing things that you can do to promote your business and get more clients. So I got the full gamut, and I'd love to welcome you into any one of those. If you are looking or ready to be working with a coach, or if you are struggling to get those goals written down and know what to do to reach those goals, we definitely should have a conversation, because I can definitely help you get that stuff, kind of mapped out, and get those things in place, and then give you a roadmap so that you can start implementing those things. And then I can support you through implementation, because that's my jam, right? All right, guys. Thank you very much. I hope that this session helps you, and please don't forget to put in the comments when you're watching this and where you're watching from. I really appreciate you, and I will see you in those comments. Bye.